There's a genetic heart risk that affects 1 out of 5 people, but most doctors never even test for it. But there is one effective way to bring that heart risk down, one that might surprise you. That risk is called lipoprotein a, or Lp(a) for short. It's a particle made in your liver that carries cholesterol through your blood. Lp(a) raises your risk for heart attacks, for strokes, and also for heart valve diseases. Unlike other heart risk factors, it's almost entirely determined by your genetics. You inherit it from your parents. Lifestyle changes like diet and exercise aren't going to fix it. Even cholesterol medications don't make much of a dent in Lp(a). And that's why postmenopausal women need to know their number, but they also need to understand one of the very few ways unique to them that can reduce your risk. After menopause, estrogen levels drop, as you're probably aware. And when estrogen goes down, Lp(a) goes up. And that's one of the many reasons why your heart risk increases after menopause. Lp(a) increases whole body inflammation. It promotes the plaque buildup that can clog your arteries and lead to a heart attack. Lp(a) contributes to stiff, calcified heart valves. If your Lp(a) is elevated, there's not a lot you can do to bring it down, as I've mentioned, and that's what makes it such a frustrating risk factor. But there is one intervention that's been shown to lower Lp(a) significantly. It's kind of unique to postmenopausal women. We'll get to that intervention in just a minute. Lp(a) is a simple blood test. You can ask your provider to order that test, although not all providers are going to think to include it. Some providers may not even know what Lp(a) is. On a scale of 1 to 10, the chances that your primary care provider is going to order Lp(a) might be, I'd say a 5 to 7. It's maybe more likely if you've already had a heart attack or if you have a strong family history of heart disease. Because your Lp(a) level is almost entirely genetic, you won't really need to test it very often. Some doctors only test it once, and they figure your number is going to stay pretty stable over time. In general, the lower the number, the better. Anything above about 50 milligrams per deciliter is considered elevated or high. Now, back to that one thing that's been shown to significantly lower Lp(a). Oral estradiol, when it's given to postmenopausal women, can significantly reduce Lp(a) levels. One more reason to talk to your provider about oral estradiol. Before we go any further, if you're confused about hormones for menopause, maybe not feeling so confident about whether they're safe, I've created a hormone menopause masterclass. It's called the Menopause Solution. The Menopause Solution walks you through the steps that you can take to reduce your symptoms and protect your long-term health at the same time using hormone optimization. Gain the confidence to advocate for your own hormone health. Learn more at simplehormones.com/optimal. Now let's circle back to Lp(a). Multiple clinical trials show that oral estradiol can lower Lp(a) by 13 to 23%. Transdermal estradiol, like patches or gels, they can help a little, but not nearly as much as oral forms. Meta-analyses have shown that oral estrogen causes a 38% greater relative Lp(a) reduction when compared to transdermal. If your Lp(a) is high, oral estradiol works even better to lower it. And that's encouraging because, as we've talked about, most interventions don't really move the needle at all. Oral estradiol isn't going to bring your Lp(a) down to 0, but it's one of the very few things that can make a real difference. If you're concerned about heart health after menopause, and you want to understand all the biomarkers that predict your long-term risk, I've got another video that explains how you can track your whole body inflammation. It's all about one simple blood test that reveals the single most important marker for inflammation throughout your body. Click here to watch that video next.